Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the session on African media policy in the digital age. I'm your moderator, Zoe Titus, and I'll be joined online by our virtual panel in just a little while. I must congratulate you for your determination and staying power. It is 5 o'clock now, so your commitment is really welcomed, and I'm very happy to have you with me during the session. It's an absolute honor for me today to moderate the session on African policy in the digital age. That was the original name for the massive open online course called a MOOC that was developed in memory of Jeanette Minnie, one of the most ardent free expression advocates that I've ever had the pleasure of knowing and calling my friend. Jeanette was known by the name Zambezi Fox. Zambezi, referring to the famous river that supports, I think, a population of over 35 million people and runs through 8 countries in Southern Africa. Fox, F-O-X, short form for freedom of expression, and Jeanette truly was a freedom of expression rock star. If she were here today, she'd have very strong opinions on everything. She had a brilliant mind and the ability to dissect complex free expression issues with such clarity and conviction. We lost Jeanette too soon. She passed in 2016 after a short battle with cancer. I know she would have given everything to be here today. She would have given everything to be here today, to see the celebration come back to Windhoek, its birthplace. She referenced the Windhoek Declaration at every opportunity. And she really lived its values and principles. So here she is.
I want to talk about the fact that many of us have argued for a very, very long time, and in fact wrote it in the Windhoek Declaration. I want to talk about the fact that many of us have argued for a very, very long time, and in fact wrote it in the Windhoek Declaration, that a free and independent African press was absolutely essential for maintenance and development of democracy, as well as economic development of any country. I want to
Thank you, everyone. Apologies for that moment earlier. I have the pleasure of introducing a number of the people who came on board, friends of Jeanette, former colleagues, to develop the MOOC that I referred to earlier. But we are taking that MOOC now with the support of the IPDC, UNESCO IPDC, to the next level. But to start this discussion and to give you some background about the history of the MOOC, I am very proud to introduce Ms. Justine Limpetlaw. She's an independent communications law consultant and a visiting adjunct professor with the Link Center at the University of Witwatersrand. She specializes in media, electronic communication, and space and satellite law. Justine just recently released a 3-volume second edition of the Media Law Handbook for Southern Africa, and is also the author of the 2-volume Media Law Handbook for Eastern Africa, which include extensive analysis of broadcasting and online regulatory, of the online regulatory environment. So pleased to meet Justine. I hope that she is online.
Hi Zoe, I am. Can you see me?
I can see you, Justine. Lovely to see you, and
Okay.
lovely to see Paula and Leon. Thanks so much for joining us this afternoon.
That's a pleasure. I just want to reiterate what you said about the commitment of the people at your conference. You know, it's after 5 on a Friday evening. That is quite extraordinary, and I think it is a testimony to Jeanette. And I just want to say, Zoe, that you really started me off, and there isn't anyone, because I'm alone here in my office, there isn't anyone in the audience who can come and give me a tissue. So if I don't manage to get through what I'm going to say, you're just going to have to put up with me wiping my nose on my sleeve, I'm afraid. We don't have a lot of time, and I don't want to take up other speakers' time. So I'm going to jump right in to talk about the online course, the MOOC course that we set up after Jeanette's death. As you know, Jeanette died late in 2016, and in 2017, a group of people started to have a conversation led primarily, I have to say, by Guy Berger of UNESCO, and also Zoe and Jeanette's husband, Pierre, to talk about how can we honor her incredible legacy and contribution in a way that that carries on her legacy and her contribution. And we decided to try and create a course to provide a resource for as many people in Africa as possible. And we got incredibly excited by the possibilities of online education. And so the Media Freedom and Freedom of Expression in Africa, the Jeanette Minnie Memorial Course, was born with the excellent work and assistance, obviously, of Frey Intermedia, who worked on the topic development and course materials. We, that's the Link Center, working with Frey and others, put together a course with the help of, I have to say, we didn't plan it this way, but it ended up being an all-female cast of lecturers, which I think is unusual for an academic program, particularly one set in Africa. In addition to myself lecturing, as I said, I'm from the Link Center. The other instructors who appear on the course, all via recorded video presentations, are Paula Frey from Frey Intermedia, who you're going to be hearing from just now, Associate Professor Sarah Chiumbu of the University of Johannesburg, Zoe Titus of Namibian Media Trust, who obviously you're all, well, she's sitting in front of you, and also Koketso Moeti of Amandla.mobi. And we have now run this online course, updating the materials and the course each time, 3 times so far, 2018, 2019, and in 2020. And in 2020, we expanded the course by an extra week, making it a 7-week course, not a 6-week course, so as to consider the role of the media and journalists during a pandemic, and also to highlight the threats to journalism and media that were becoming apparent as a result of the pandemic. Over the past few years, we have had over 3,700 students from well over 100 countries, representing participation from the largest number of different African countries for any MOOC on the edX online platform. And the edX online platform is the largest platform globally for online courses. And I think this is an extraordinary achievement because I mean, I don't know this for a fact, but I'm willing to extrapolate, just given the power of the edX platform, that means that our course has had the widest African participation of any online course held globally. It's extraordinary, and I'm just delighted to have been part of this and very grateful to all of the people, not all of whom were women, I have to say, who really made this a reality. For the 2021 course, we're going to be focusing on the following kinds of topics. In the course, we identify the core principles of freedom of expression, of media freedom and access to information. We set out the policy, legal, and practical components of a democratic media ecosystem. We look at regulatory and other measures that build media pluralism and diversity. Dimensions of online media, including online freedom of expression and access to information. And we look, and we're really excited about this part because it's the thing that really sets this course apart from other academic courses, is that we delve in depth into strategies and tactics for effective civil society engagement with policy and media freedom and freedom of expression issues to support democratic African media ecosystems. As I said, we'll also be looking at the impact of COVID-19 on journalists and the media. We're running the course again from the 16th of August, 2021. Please all sign up for it. We'll be updating the materials before that in July, and really looking forward to doing that. And I just want to say that one of the most useful aspects in our view about the course is that the edX platform allows anyone who enrolls for the course ongoing access to all of the materials, all of the readings, all of the references, all of the videos. And because we've made sure that those are open source, as long, we'd like you to reference, we'd like people who use them to reference that they got them for the course, but they're welcome to use those for teaching materials, for their own civil society campaigns. And that really, I think, is the launch pad for the next dimension of the course, which Paula and Zoe are obviously going to be talking about, this new initiative to create a teaching resource. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Justine. Thank you for that introduction. But Justine, I know for a fact that you've been doing most of the monitoring of the course, and that you've had very, very good feedback from former participants of the course. It's unfortunate that one of the former participants, Philemon Shikomba, could not connect with us this afternoon. He's based in Arusha, Tanzania. And the link was just too bad to get him online. But we would so much have loved to be able to have someone online who could speak from his personal experience and, well, share his personal experience of the course. What he told me, in fact, though, was that it opened his eyes and gave him a different thinking about this issue of media freedom and freedom of expression, and just how critical it is for our democracies. But let's continue. We definitely will share more information with you about the course, and hopefully Philemon will be able to come online at a different platform. I now have the pleasure to introduce Ms. Paula Frey, officially introduce Ms. Paula Frey. She's the founder and managing director at Frey Intermediate and Frey College. Paula has worked in media for more than 3 decades as a journalist, editor, trainer, and media manager. She was the first female editor of the Saturday Star newspaper in South Africa, and she's currently the managing director of the Pan-African media training organization, Frey Intermediate, which she founded in 2005. Frey Intermediate and Frey College have trained journalists, media leaders, civil society organizations, government officials, and corporate leaders during its decade-long existence, more than a decade, I'm sure. So it made absolute sense when we had this idea to develop this resource that we went to Frey Intermediate to set up the technical aspects, but also to help with the content development. So here is Paula to tell you about the next phase being that resource for academics and media institutions to improve and develop context-specific resources to support curricula on media and journalism training. Paula, the floor is yours, but at the same time, I should also introduce Mr. Leon Willemse. He's the director of Free Press Unlimited. Leon has has an illustrious history in the area of media freedom and freedom of expression. He was the appointed director of policy and programs at Free Press Unlimited in May 2011. And today he leads Free Press Unlimited in the Netherlands jointly with Ruth Cronenberg. And Free Press Unlimited works in 40 countries across Africa, Asia, Europe, Latin America, and the MENA region. Leon's experience Leon's experience includes strategy development, policy implementation, and innovation. He initiated the International Coalition of Civil Society Organizations for the Safety of Journalists, which serves as a consultative body for the UN Plan of Action on for journalist safety. And he's led the advocacy to improve the efforts to monitor, report, and investigate threats to journalists as mandated to UNESCO. Free Press Unlimited has become a world leader in emergency support to journalists in danger, and currently is carrying out a cold case investigation project into journalist murder, a safer world for the truth. So that is someone that comes with much experience, and I've asked Leon specifically to share his views about collaboration and why a Northern civil society organization would see interest and find it fitting to collaborate with African media policy campaigners on this particular MOOC. So the floor is yours. Paula and Leon, welcome once more.
Thank you very, very much, Zoe, and greetings from a very wet Johannesburg this evening. I can really think of no greater tribute actually to the Windhoek Declaration than for us to help replicate the passion and the skills that Jeanette Minnie had for media freedom on the continent. And if you haven't done the MOOC, I'm strongly going to recommend that you do actually sign up for it this year. You get an opportunity to talk to people who are passionate about media policy across the African continent and beyond. But really, it's steeped in a theoretical framework and then with very, very practical implementation in your country. When we developed the MOOC, we really wanted to be able to produce a program that on the one hand had a very strong theoretical curriculum, but also was able to translate into on the ground implementation strategies. Justine was saying earlier on that really on the one hand there's media policy and how you can map media policy in your country, but then there's also the implementation process that you're looking at. I'm really excited though about the next phase for this program, and what we really are doing now is using the framework of the MOOC to really turn to produce a resource for journalism educators, for media institutions to really use in their curriculum on African media policy. So Frey Intermedia was an early user of e-learning. Even before the pandemic, we had begun to work with organizations like Wits University to be able to produce online programs. But we also very often do such training across different African